So I am kicking off our Local Leaders Roundtable call for November of 2022, where we are discussing some of our highlights of our year and some of the challenges we're facing for next year. The Local Leaders Roundtable was put together with the idea of cross-pollinating amongst our buy local and independent business alliance organizations across the country, so that we are not always reinventing the wheel, and so that we can all rely on each other for help and ideas, and sometimes just venting. So we are building more community amongst our IBAs through these calls, and we was founded with my partner in crime, Rebecca Melanson, who is here, and continued on with Jen Risley, and who is keeping the trains running on time for these calls. And this is a member benefit of the American Independent Business Alliance. So Nicholas, we'll let you introduce yourself as well, because I don't know that I think I may have seen you on a call before, and just want to hear a little bit about where you're from.
Certainly. Hi all. Yeah, I'm a volunteer in Pulteney, Vermont. I'm part of the Downtown Revitalization Committee now. And yeah, I was not gonna have a whole lot of time to stick on either. So if I do turn off my video, I'm preparing for another meeting. So sorry about that, but happy to be here.
No worries. And we are expecting more, but I'm not sure. We'll see if they come or not. I think a lot of people register for a Zoom so they can get the recording as well. So, but I am Jennifer Rubenstein. I'm the executive director of the Louisville Independent Business Alliance. Jen and Rebecca, do y'all want to introduce yourself just so we...
Sure. Go ahead, Jen.
Yeah, thanks, Rebecca. I am Jen Risley. I'm the director of operations here at Amoeba. So welcome, Nicholas. It's good to see you, Rebecca.
And I'm Rebecca Melanson. I'm a co-founder of the Local Business Institute and have been involved in Amoeba for many years. And I was, till recently, just on the board. So always looking to help local business in any way that we can. So that's why I'm here. I want to hear what everybody needs.
Well, so yeah, for the Local Leaders Roundtable, we generally rotate between 3 types of formats. We have nuts and bolts sessions where we have kind of an outside expert oftentimes come visit us and talk about things. We have a, I'm blanking here, what's going on with Amoeba. So just keeping up to date on what's going on with the mothership nationally, all that good stuff. And then this call today is the most unstructured of them all. It is called the Hive. And so we have one person joining us as well here. So with the Hive, this is akin to a cocktail hour conversation after a conference where we just kind of chat and share some ideas and talk about what's been good, what's been challenging, all that good stuff. So I'll welcome Jessica here in just a moment after she gets settled in. We are doing, so I guess I can kind of kick things off, I suppose. We've got a small group today, and we will probably wrap up a little early today, but I think if we can maybe each just share a sentence or two about our triumph and a sentence or two about our challenge, that will kind of get us started, and we can see if there's any themes or how we kind of want to move forward in this only vaguely structured kind of call. So so my success for this year, like a big kind of new thing, is a some major dollars, and I always like that. We have had a West Louisville initiative for many years, and if you're familiar with Louisville, West Louisville is predominantly Black area that has had a more than its share of struggles and disenfranchisement with redlining, et cetera. So it was an area that we wanted to pay particular attention to as far as independent businesses and keeping more of those dollars circulating in the neighborhood. And there have been some very positive developments and a lot of commercial construction development, which has been great. But again, we want to mitigate against gentrification. So independent businesses, we feel like, are a great way to do that, and have put out the call to 4 kind of major stakeholders in the area who have the bigger dollars to spend. And, generally my sponsorships max out at about 5,000, and now we're talking in the range of 20 or more per year, with 4 different organizations. So that's going to add up to a lot. And so we're very pleased with that. We just feel like we just caught fire this year. And, a lot of that is due to the kind of social justice, new awareness, and et cetera, that is long overdue. But it feels like it's been kind of a pivotal moment. So, and then my challenge for next year is capacity. My challenge is always capacity. I don't know anybody on this call who would not say capacity is a challenge for next year. So I'm waiting for, that magic wand somebody's going to give me today on this call. Y'all going to tell me how to do this. And so yeah, figuring out staffing and how just being, I don't know, we do our strategic plan every year, just going into this, just what are we going to take on? I think we are going to need to, expand hours and time, and it is nice to kind of have that sponsorship. So at least I'm in a position now where I do have some dollars coming in, so that helps a lot as far as capacity goes. But I would love to hear about anybody else's struggles with capacity. So that's probably more than a couple sentences there, but that's the idea for our challenge and our win. So Jessica, do you want to say hello and maybe jump in with yours?
Sure. I'm sorry, first of all, that I was late, and then I put a peanut butter cup in my mouth right before jumping on.
That's
So
excellent. Recharge.
so my name is Jessica David. This is my first time being at one of these meetings, so thanks to Jen for the invitation. I'm the co-founder and president of an organization called Local Return, which is in Rhode Island. We're focused on the state of Rhode Island, and our mission is to build community wealth through community investment and ownership. And so we are an all volunteer organization, so huge capacity challenges too. And I will just say quickly, I think, our success is past few months, we've actually brought in some money. So our big goal, which is probably also my big challenge for 2023, is setting up a community investment fund here, which would be Rhode Island's first local investment fund. And we received a grant to mostly pay for legal assistance to help with that. And then we also did just a small $5,000 crowdfunding campaign to help support it, because we felt like it was important to get community support and also to get people a bit excited about it. And I was really thrilled. We thought that would take us a few months. And I think we've raised about $6,500 in 3 weeks. And so, and people were very enthusiastic, very supportive, like didn't even, just sort of said yes before we even got through and asked. So, and I think it helped us also identify some people who will be interested in the fund when we get to that point. So that is definitely my success. I think the challenge is going to be really getting that fund established and maintaining. We've been trying to kind of build this community around the concept of buying and investing and giving and owning local and all these things. And, we've been slowly growing this network and keeping people engaged and excited when like the fund, the vehicle, and other things just take a long time. And just maintaining attention and enthusiasm, probably my challenge. So among other challenges, but it's very nice to meet you all, and thank you for letting me join you.
Absolutely. I mean, it's kind of nice. I think we got a small group today. We have some more folks registered that might be popping in, but this gives us a chance to deeper dive a little bit. So, thank you, Jessica, and congratulations too. Nicholas, I'll put you on the spot.
Sure. Yeah. So I think, in relation to the work that you all are doing, I'm a bit less, directly connected to your goals and mission and that kind of thing. But local business is definitely something that we're trying to, begin to highlight in downtown Pulteney and that kind of thing. One of our, I don't know, you guys have I can't remember how you were framing it, but thorns and roses kind of thing. We unfortunately lost. We ran out of funding in a grassroots campaign to fight a Dollar General from moving in downtown. So we are dealing with them moving in. Thankfully, they're the property owner is very poorly regarded within the community and doesn't seem to be doing anything to improve his image. So I think that a boycott campaign is in the works, and I think it should hopefully do pretty well. But on the positive side, even after COVID, our street level retail occupancy rate is really high. It is leaning more towards offices at this point, as opposed to like a more vibrant downtown retail tableau. But I think we'll take full storefronts if we can. And yeah, I mean, I was hoping to come to this meeting and get some ideas in terms of whether you all are organizing local independent businesses in some framework or strategy that we could emulate here, trying to figure out how the Chamber of Commerce may be involved and stuff like that. But they are a bit slow, so I'm hoping to give them a few pushes in the right direction, that kind of thing.
Thank you. And remind me again the name of your town and which state.
Yeah, it's Poultney. It's like poultry, but NEY at the end instead.
Gotcha.
And Vermont.
Okay. Very cool. Well, glad to hear about the efforts there, that you've already got a lot since you've gotten an organizing around that particular issue. That's like a lightning rod for getting people together. Let's see, Rebecca and Jen, I don't know who wants to go first, and then we can kind of dive in around.
I just like to say, I love to hear the success stories, and it sounds like things are really coming back from the pandemic. And so Jen, congratulations in Louisville. That's a really big step and a big win. And Nicholas, you might consider, or have you already organized the businesses in the district you're talking about, just as even a beginning merchants association. I mean, just to get them going and get the ball rolling. Sounds like you have an issue, and getting them organized around an issue is one of the easier ways to get them organized. So, but I'd love to hear how everybody's doing. And at Libby, the Local Business Institute, we are close to launching our virtual campus of online on-demand classes for small business. So that has gotten my complete attention day and night for quite some time. And we're coming up to the end of at least getting to a launch date. So that's pretty fun. And one of the things that we have is a local first community series. And it is how to start an organization, how to fund it, how to grow it, how to run it, things like that, in very short courses. So that's what I've been working on. And as a challenge, money. It's always a challenge. And then if you get money, then capacity is always a challenge. But we've been going after federal grants, which are they're hard, they're long. You hurry and get a grant in, and sometimes it's 6 months before you even hear from them. So it is definitely a long-term project, and they're hard to get. But it's such big money that, I can't not go after them. It is a challenge.
I hear you. Well, nice. Okay. Well, yeah. We're getting in the mix here. So Jen, round us out here. Tell us about you, and then let's.
Yeah. So I'm, I guess my triumphs and challenges are roses and thorns, how Nicholas put it, looking at the perspective of what I do in my local community. So Nicholas, I actually am organizing in Keene, New Hampshire, and also work with the Upper Valley. So we should definitely chat more about how we can help each other out. But this is our 5-year anniversary for the local crowd Monadnock adopting a rewards-based crowdfunding platform through a LLC called the Local Crowd. So we've raised a little over $400,000 since we started with 50 different campaigns. A lot of them are for-profits who have worked with us, and that's really what I get most excited about, because there's lots of platforms out there for nonprofits that are, easy to use, don't require, a lot of extra fees, but this really helps to have those, emerging businesses and also entrepreneurs. Like my one friend, he's done 3 campaigns now for his farm, but he just decided to raised $15,000 to actually write a book about a permaculture in New England. So it's just nice to see how it's evolving. People are learning and they're having those aha moments that, for instance, having email addresses and doing newsletters every month is
Oh, dang it, Jen. I think we're
critical.
losing you.
And it's, I forget when you had to hear me all right.
It was slowing down a bit. We heard you up to email addresses. I think we're basically saying email addresses and regular contact is important. Is that?
Yep. The challenge, I'm going to try to see if I can get this to stop. The challenge is just what you all said, but this one is going to form a cooperative. So around the local crowd. So that's very, very challenging.
Gotcha. Well, interesting. I love that Jen and Jessica are both kind of in that crowdfunding mode. How do we move forward? How are we, what do you think? Should we kind of popcorn off each other or dive in on one particular topic?
I'd love to hear more about crowdfunding. Kind of, how you did it, what mistakes you made, what worked, what didn't work.
Because that seems like it could be helpful too for Nicholas and his organizing, since they just ran out of funds. So, it's
Yeah. And I really appreciate what Jessica said about it is the money, yes, but it's also engaging people. So you're building your community if somebody just gives you $10 even.
Yeah, we did it like as simply and probably as poorly as possible. So we use our online giving platform is PayPal, which is really a little clunky, I have to say, but we haven't wanted to invest in a fancier platform, mostly because I'm cheap and I don't want to pay all the fees until we start bringing in a lot more. So we just created a website, a page on our website that said, we've got this $5,000 campaign. I did one of those free little, giving thermometer things and kept it updated. And our big job was we have a newsletter, really, I want to say maybe about 400 people on it, if that. And I put it out through the newsletter, I put it out through social media, and I've put it out through the newsletter again. And it was definitely each of the times where the newsletter, the first social media push, and then the second newsletter push, that's where we saw the gifts come in. And all but one, I think we had 33 or 34 gifts, all but one came in online. They were actually bigger on average than I expected. I was expecting much more of like the 10, 20, 50. And they ranged in size from $20 to, we had one person who gave us $1,000. And then when I put out the last call saying like, we're $300 away, he gave another 500.
Wow.
And so they all differed. Just, we had a bunch of $100. We had kind of a cluster of 250s, which like surprised me. And most people, this also excited me. Most people actually covered the fee that's an option in PayPal where you can pay to cover the fee. And I want to say 85% of people checked that, which really surprised me.
Wow.
I'm very happy. Yeah. Yeah. So
did you put out suggested amounts?
no, it's funny. originally when I had done the page, I did. And then I went back and I was like, I don't like this. And so I took it down. And I'm glad I did, because I think my initial suggested amounts were, 20, 50, 100. And then I had like a 250. And I feel like if I had done that, I would have really been skewing people lower than where they ended up. So
Right.
that was I just wasn't comfortable with where I had the ranges. So I took it down right away.
And that's so interesting, because that's such a tough thing to do, because there's what you're saying is, if I put what I think I'm expecting, I may be lowballing it. But then if you put it on the higher end, you can turn people off who are just
Right.
like, oh my gosh, I can't give that much. So smart move.
Right.
on that. That was great. And
Yeah.
thanks. That's really good information on, I've never done a crowdfunding deal, but it's something I've considered time and time again. And now I'm wondering why I'm not doing this.
Because
Because,
you don't have time.
well, there is that. Oh, the capacity issue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jen, you've done the crowdfunding. What did you find?
Yeah, just second what Jessica said. We actually have training that goes along with it. So it has been learning all along the way and seeing over and over again that it's definitely a science to crowdfunding, but it's also an art form. So
Yeah.
finding those two things, like our local newspaper have worked with us. And I think they had their goal of $70,000. And I just remember rolling my eyes to them and saying, there is no way you can do that. And guess what? I was wrong. So it's definitely, it always surprising. And the biggest thing with our platform is people can add rewards. So that kind of helps people give more. And it's also kind of creating a community, because other local businesses donate rewards that we can offer. So it's not you offering rewards, it's your neighborhood coffee shop, because they want to support you. So that's kind of the nice thing about it. That makes it a little bit different, that it's not just going on your own, it's really cultivating a community locally through the platform. So I'm always happy to have people kick the tires with us. So if you're ever interested, just give me a holler.
I will.
Cool.
Definitely, because that's so interesting to be for businesses who say, well, you can participate and you can give by giving some coffee, or whatever it is you do, and gives them a way to participate and bring in customers for them, as well as money for you. So
Yep.
that is an awesome idea.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job.
Well,
It's interesting
follow-up
that-
question. I'm sorry.
Okay. It was just interesting that y'all both talked about lowballing it, and that people gave and you received more than you would have thought, which is a testament to your efforts and to your organizations. But it's also just an interesting, I've trained salespeople for so many years, and I had one sales rep who used to always say, when we talk about, oh, don't call on them, they don't have any money, they're not going to do this. And she would say, don't say no for them. And it was just such a great reminder, don't say no for them. And so many times they came through and did something. So
Very nice. I had just a kind of a additional question for Jen and Jessica. Did you line up in advance some kind of early seed dollars, as far as have 2 or 3 people that say, yes, I will contribute at this level, to kind of kick things off, so it doesn't look like crickets and tumbleweeds,
Yeah, we definitely recommend that people go really public with their campaign after they raise 30%. So we help them get to that 30% with their friends and family, or we actually have a little bit of seed funding ourselves for campaigns that are in alignment with our community goals. So like right now we have an affordable housing one. I want him to get a little bit closer to his, 30%, but then I'm just going to go, here you go, go crazy. But if people don't have that a little bit, then people are a little shy, even if they're interested, of being the first to give.
good point.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we did not follow that best practice at all. Although we did know it. So I think I put in the first gift mostly because when I put the thermometer on the page, I didn't want it to be at 0. So I think it was at like 3% or something. You know, and I will say that I knew our board members were going to give early, so I didn't feel too nervous about that. I think it would have been way smarter to do that though. The other thing that I really feel like I missed in this, although I shouldn't say that entirely, but I would have liked to have had more people become kind of spokespeople for it, like on social media, and kind of share it. I did have 2 people do that who I didn't expect. Like they were both kind of new. One has kind of been in our orbit, and one just saw it on social media. It's somebody I know, you know, through Twitter, but not really well. And he, you know, he gave a really small gift and then posted it and, you know, put a message on. So that was really nice. But I was hoping to do more of that, and there are probably ways I should have actually encouraged and asked for that, and I didn't. So yeah, so don't do it like we did it on this. And I think if we hadn't have had those first like gifts really come in after our first big push, then I would have like gone to our board members and said like, okay, let's get a few in here to make it look a little more robust and active.
Interesting. You know, it's hard, especially when you do something the first time, to think of everything. And then even if you think of it, to actually execute it, it's really hard. So, but that's an interesting idea to start off from the beginning, asking your members or asking colleagues to promote it and share it as part of giving.
Yeah.
That's written down.
Yeah, I really wish I had done that. And I think if I had built it in like to the website and into the thank you notes, and it would have just been easier. It would have been a standard as opposed to like being kind of a one-off every time. But I want to follow up on something you just said about when it's, so that I didn't even think of in advance, but there were certainly things, and there are always things that I do think of, and I have to make a decision like I'm not going to bother trying this because
Right.
and that to me gets to the capacity question and challenge that we've all brought up. And those are the things I really struggle with the most, because it just makes me feel like I'm not doing as good of a job with something as I could, when maybe I'm just doing the best job I can given the realities. So if anyone has any wisdom on how they're making those, just like what is good enough, I would be very grateful for hearing that wisdom.
That's a tough question. And you're right. I mean, a capacity issue. I've never known an IBA leader to not have a gazillion ideas. And both, which ones do you do? Because you can't do all of them. And you can say, okay, I can do this and this and this, or this and this and this, but not this and this and this and this and this, right? Even within a project or the projects themselves. And I like to, and it's purely a psychological game I play with myself, right? Man is the only animal capable of self-deception, right? So I participate in it. In that, things I come up with that I think, oh, that's a lot for year one, or, you know, just to start out with. I like to just make a list of them and plan them for the next time, because it helps me to feel like I didn't just not do them. You know, they're part of the plan, but they're part of the plan at step 2 or step 3 or, you know, 4, whatever, wherever. And it just, it makes me feel better. It's not, I don't know that it changes a whole lot. But the other thing that it does help is, you know, when you come around to do something a second time, I think we've all sat in a room with people and say, okay, what was it we talked about? Because it was such a good idea, and now we can't remember what it was. So at least it's kind of a list of things to do for next time. And it makes you feel like you didn't neglect it, you did something with it. You put it on the list for next time. Works for me.
Nicholas, are you ready to start your crowdfunding campaign now?
I am. I'm actually about to start a crowdfunding campaign for a downtown mural initiative. So this is all very timely. This is great.
Are you doing that through the patronicity or is that what it was called?
Yeah, or
The
yeah,
placemaking?
yeah, exactly. Better
Cool.
places.
That's
And
it. Yep.
yeah, one thing that I'm planning on doing is I already have a proposal deck that I've been sort of shopping around town to like give people a sense of what we're doing and why we're doing it. So my plan is modeled after the local library here had a successful campaign to raise funds and expand with an extension of their building, a new wing. And the one thing that the library director told me really worked well was producing a video. So my plan is to produce like a 2-minute video that's like a quick, overview, and then a longer, probably 10-minute video where I'm going to step people through the process and why we made the decisions we did and that kind of thing.
Perfect.
Yeah, and then from there, blast it out on Front Porch Forum. I don't know if you all have Front Porch Forum, but so it's a lovely like sort of like email. I don't know how to categorize it, like newsletter, where it's sort of like a mix between Craigslist and a newsletter, and you sort of submit what you want your town to know, and then it pops up in this feed that you get once a certain number of posts have accrued on the back end. And it's really just like such a, I think it's kind of, well, I'm going to go down a rabbit hole, but I'm a big fan of it just because I think that it takes out a lot of the toxicity of other platforms like Facebook, because you can't respond immediately. And I think when people are given a minute to think about whether they want to put their name on something that, mean, they often don't. So it's been a good stopgap measure for keeping tempers down online.
Interesting.
And Nicholas, you get a matching grant, right? Through that, if you hit a certain level.
Right. So we have to
That's
raise
cool.
a third of the total funds, and then the other 2/3 will be matched by the Better Places. And what's great too is it's non-competitive. So because we're the first ones to apply for Pulteney, we're automatically, I mean, not automatically, but we're, the application process is a lot more streamlined. And yeah, I'm biting my nails a bit about it. One of the big things we decided to do very early on was, present the 3 locations that will be installing murals as temporary installations, just simply because we're a very conservative town and a lot of people aren't necessarily ready for change. So, I think we're kind of tiptoeing our way into, making downtown a bit more of a vibrant place that people want to spend time in.